Hey everyone, I'm your host today for the Women's Empowerment Project, Rise Up and Kick Ass. Today we have Sandra Valls. She is a comedian, a singer, an MC, a host. She has been touted as one of like Latina LA comedian extraordinaire. I met her because I wrote a documentary that was submitted to La Femme Women's Film Festival in Los Angeles, a very popular event. And I went to the show. We did win, which was awesome, for a movie called Headhunt Revisited. But Sandra was the host MC of the event, and I was so impressed with her. And I just thought she was so funny and good vibes that I was like, I need to talk to her. But it just didn't seem like the Primal Blueprint podcast would have been we're not doing necessarily just mind body. And so when it came to women's empowerment, I was like, listen, Latina, comedian, and then also lesbian, there's a couple things you had to go through in life that you had to empower yourself to get through. So we'll talk about some of that stuff and laugh. Welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, we'll talk about all that.
We'll talk about it. So did you feel weird that I accosted you at I went up to you at the event? I'm like, I'm calling you, probably like, who's this crazy
No,
bee?
it happens to me all the time,
Yeah.
pretty girls coming up and saying, no, I'm just kidding. No, I thought it was wonderful. I'm very open. I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything's synchronized. And I was like, oh, cool. This had to happen now, and this is what's happening. And I look forward to it. And then you never called me. And I'm like, okay. And then you did. And then we played email tag for a while.
Yeah, I really persevered. I didn't hear from you at first, or I got the wrong email. I kept going. I really powered through it. I was like, I'm gonna talk to her. You're really funny. I love all your jokes, and also anyone can go see your Instagram, which is great. Your website, We Love Sandra, and we'll put all of these things in the show notes and talk about how to connect you with you directly at the end. But let's talk about where you started, because the decision to you were raised in Texas. Let's talk about being like, hey, I want to be a comedian, and then some of the other things you had to reveal.
Well, actually, comedy kind of fell on my lap.
Mm.
I majored in musical theater. I wanted to be a singer. I still sing. I still do my thing, and an actor. And I moved to LA. I moved to Boston, and I was in this relationship, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny." I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard it. I'm funny. You should really take comedy classes." So I actually did. I took a nighttime adult education 6-week kind of thing that my girlfriend actually signed me up for, and then she broke up with me. And I actually went to the class to make friends. I didn't go to because she took all my friends, because lesbians do that.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but I went to make friends, but a whole career came out of it, and me talking about my personal stuff came out of it. And she actually came to my first gig. She is that forward thinking, or she was. She still is probably. And she came to my first gig and just really laughed at all the jokes about her. But a whole career came out of it. So thanks for
yeah.
that.
Thanks, you crazy bee, for stealing all my friends.
No, she's not crazy. She's actually
No, I'm kidding.
one of the most peaceful, really centered, beautiful people I've ever met.
That's lovely. Yeah, clearly I was also just joking. She probably really is. What, but seriously, yeah, what's up with the friend stealing? No, but at what point, so that's very big of her to have come and laughed at herself. I want to say that.
Well, she's Buddhist, and she's very centered, and she was very much like, it didn't work out for a reason, and blah, blah, blah. We were in our 20s.
Yeah.
That's very forward thinking for someone in their 20s.
So you're in your 20s, and I mean, the life of a stand-up, man, it's a lot. Let's talk about that. It's a self-promoting solo journey at first for a long time, until people are starting to forever. Yeah.
Like forever. Well, yeah, it is. When you come to grips with the privilege and the honor and the responsibility that you have the mic, and you have the ability to influence and empower and enlighten people through laughter, that's like a drug, man. That's something that you go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Even though it's not super lucrative at times, it is overwhelmingly rewarding in transforming people's lives through laughter, because especially at times like these or any times, laughter is healing. And so this has been, for comedians, our coping skill from the very beginning. How we laugh at things, how we view the world, how we find humor in things, how we look at something that might be horrible and gross to another person. To us, we're like, yeah, but at least blah blah blah, you know, and we will add a little bit of humor to help us cope through life. And so it's a natural thing that we do. So why not share it and get paid for it, you know?
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's really, you're a passion person. There is no benchmarks when you become a comedian. You don't join a comedy firm and make partner, right? There are no. It's a sea of unknowns. But I agree with you because, see, I'm one of those people. Sketch comedy, improv for years, writing, all the stuff that no one said anyone should do, voiceover. No one ever. Everything I did, everyone was like, "Yeah, good luck with that." That's, I mean, they didn't say it, but that was the
Do
vibe
you
of
have a
the
backup
world.
plan? Do you have a plan to fall back on? You're like
Yeah.
waitressing.
Which is the classic thing. And I think it was Rosie O'Donnell even who said, no, I never had a backup plan because I knew I'd use it. And, something like that. So I like that about the backup plan. I didn't really have one because I got my arms injured. And so I really could only use my voice and everything. And it aligned with what I wanted to do. But I know you'll agree with me. And I'm just getting back to the point of the fulfillment of whatever it is when you're pursuing your passion, despite the fact that social construction is saying that's not a stable thing to do. So let's hear about the kickback from some of your family and people, because I know I've gotten some shit over the years, right, about pursuing some stuff that we do. Tell us about some of those reactions when you were like, I'm going to do this.
Well, I was like, first of all, my family is very Mexican, very Catholic. So for me to even go away to college was big. It was like, you got to stay here a year. So I went to a junior college, which was like 13th grade. I mean, it was like, really? Okay. And then I went to University of Texas, and they were like, well, that's 4 hours away. And oh, what are you majoring in? I was like, musical theater. Like, to my parents, who were like self-made Latinos, who like, you work hard, you roll up your sleeves. My dad built our house with his like hands. Musical theater? Well, she'll get over it. Let her go to musical theater. Then she'll come back to Laredo and work at the bank like her with her cousin. So they let me do that. And then toward the end, I was like, I'm auditioning for a musical theater school in New York called AMDA. They were like, what? Maybe farther? So I had to fight for that, like arguing, fighting, like, this is what I want to do. And they actually were like, okay. And they took out a loan, my very humble, lower middle class parents, to go to New York for a year. And I worked my ass off, and then I came out. I mean, it's like, for
yeah,
my
okay. So now they're like, she keeps just every turn she's going in directions we don't want her to go in.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, and now I'm moving to Boston because I fell in love with this. It's like, they're like, what? And like, then I'm like, I'm moving to LA because I'm going to be a comedian. They were like, okay, what? At this point, they were like, no use in holding her back. She's going to do what she's going to do. And I took my mother's old Ford Taurus that she gifted me because she just didn't drive anymore. And in the early 2000s, I tuned it up as well as I could. And I packed it up with everything I could. And I drove cross country to LA to couch surf with my friend. I was actually escaping a horrible relationship. We've all had one of those.
We've all had that.
But it was great. And so I couch surfed with somebody here forever in my beat up old Taurus. I mean, that was something else. But it made it through.
I had a really beat up Maxima. I had a horrible, we were the same two people driving, probably passing each other in LA. My car was like, basically there was a point of which, had I pressed on the brakes one more time, they wouldn't have even, it would have, yeah.
My car broke down twice. Once a blowout in the middle of the George Washington Bridge in New York, because I was driving from Boston in the rain, and I changed the tire. It's very butch of me.
Yeah, that was actually pretty awesome of you.
I was like, I had to pretend because my friend with me was all like, oh my God. I was like, don't worry, little lady. And I'm like changing the tire. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I was doing it. And I did it. And then the other time it broke down in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. It just started like smoking. And it was the best experience. See, this is what I think it's like life is so holy that it broke down in the middle of nowhere. I forget where, Tennessee. And while it was at the Firestone, my friend was like, I want a bagel. And I'm like, we're in Tennessee. It's probably a salty donut. Like, really?
Right.
We walked up to this place. We're like, oh, Bubba's Bagels. Bubba. And here comes Bubba, this young 24-year-old cool guy. And the place looked like a Starbucks. He took us all around. He gave us free bagels. They're the best bagels I've ever had in my life. Great cream cheese. He gave us a tour. He gave us all these bagels, all this food. And one of the workers was so impressed. This is why I always say you never know who you're going to impact. He was like, really, really? He goes to the back and he gives me a painting of this chili pepper that he made. Why you would have a painting while working at a bagel place? I don't know. But he brings it out and he signs it and he says, this is for your first apartment. Don't forget me. I still have it.
Oh.
Like it hangs in every place that I've ever lived. It doesn't hang here yet because I'm in transition, but I have that chili pepper, and that painting just really motivated me and moved me forward. Bubba's Bagels.
Bubba's Bagels. No one had. Bubba didn't even know that you're out here. You're out here 20 years later, still preaching about how amazing the experience.
Bubba is, and his workers, and his strawberry bagels. I love them.
Oh man. Yeah. So I want to hear a little bit more about how, just internally, were you? Everyone has a different comfortability level. What was yours with coming out as being gay? Were you struggling with that for a long time with your family? How long did you know and were aware before you were like, uh-oh, I think I've got to like actually say something? You know, what was that process?
So I'm in New York. It's the 90s. And my first girlfriend ever, I meet her and I don't know who, she's just another actor. And, I'm trying to make friends when I'm in acting school in New York. And I say, she goes, do you want to get together, later on tonight and just kind of have a couple beers? Okay. At that point, I'm like, yeah, sure. Didn't know how to drink anything. It's like, sure. And she's like, yeah, and she goes, I'm a lesbian. I go, yeah, so what? So we go across the street from the school to her dorm apartment room. It's a dorm. And we go all the way up to the rooftop and we're overlooking Broadway and we're talking about dreams and how we want to be Broadway stars and actors and drinking Bud Light. I don't know what we're drinking, but I'm all pretending like, sure. And then she starts like getting closer and closer to me. And I, like a dumbass, I'm thinking, it's not even cold. Why is she getting?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm thinking like, it's kind of hot. Why is she like?
Clueless.
Well, I didn't know. I was like, what? And then I'm like, oh, I know what she's doing. Oh. So then I'm just telling you all the truths. So then she turns around and she's very forward. And she goes, can I kiss you? And I go, okay, but don't tell anyone.
Right away, you're shamed. Like, I mean, you're like,
don't
okay.
tell anyone. Okay, but then I knew, I was like, this is it. Oh my God, this is it. So then I'm like, how long? Damn it. What an amazing thing. But damn it. What an amazing thing, but damn it. Yeah. There are three things. My parents, my family, my sister, my brother, my friends, and then God. I had no problem with my sister and brother. They were like, cool, no worries. My parents was actually easy, but not too easy, but okay. My friends, no worries. I still had that whole thing about God, because I grew up Catholic. Very Catholic and Mexican. Like, damn it, God. So that took some soul searching, which I'm so grateful for because it opened mind-blown doors to go, oh, I get what life is about now. It's not what I've been conditioned to think. It is validating that my God is not the God y'all talk about. My God is not that God. When they talk bad about one of your friends and you're like, that's not my friend. Why are you talking like that about my friend? That's how I've always felt about the God I believed in. And so the more I searched, the more it validated, I'm right. My God does not hate anything. My God and is the universe, and the universe is love and joy and abundance and prosperity. That's God. What's all this stuff you're adding to it? So it took me a little bit.
How did they handle their own beliefs? Is it love the hate the sinner, not the sin, still kind of the way of it? Or do they also believe that their God isn't this person that they were taught that it might be? Your family that still was religious. What was their, did they have any changes, or are they just more of acceptance, or did they actually change the way they looked at something?
They changed the way they looked at it because I was so sure about myself.
Right.
And was not expecting. This is the thing. Because I chose myself, and that took a minute. And I was so sure of self, and I loved myself. I mean, I love myself more now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That they were like, oh, they took a minute. I told my mom, because my mom asked me, my mom would call me every Sunday. ¿Tienes novio? Do you have a boyfriend? Every Sunday she would ask. Like, I'm not going to tell her, like on Thursday if I met some guy. Like every Sunday she had to ask. And finally one day I was living with my second girlfriend. It took a minute, like I said. And she says, do you have a boyfriend? And I go, are you asking me if I have someone special? Yes. I said, yes. She looks like a boy. She goes, what? I said, she kind of looks like a boy. She goes, oh, are you saying what I think you're saying? I said, yes, you're thinking what I'm saying. Yes. She's like, how dare you do this to me? Like, it's all about her. She's very Mexican. It was a whole novela scene.
Telenovela?
Oh, yes. This is a blow. This is a blow to me. Like, it's worse than being punched in the face. Like, I'm like this, whatever. She calls me after 3 days. I have not eaten in 3 days. Like all
now the guilt's coming, right?
I have not gone to work, but I love you so much for being so brave and living your life, and I love you even more.
Wow.
But don't tell your father. Don't tell your father. She was like, I love you even more because I know how hard.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful you're sharing this. I'm getting goosebumps right now because it's amazing to see someone who, again, they're looking at you, someone they've known their whole life, their little girl, and you're unwavering in who you are, and that can't not accept that, right? It just some people fight. They were like, they saw you, they saw it for what it was, which was just like, it's love, right? You're just someone who loves another woman.
Then she says, what did she say? I knew it. I didn't hug you enough.
Oh, there we go.
It's your father. I was like, no, it's because of the fighting. I'm like, no. But then, she's like, I respect you even more because I know that's not easy. This was in the 90s, and no, it was not easy. It's easier now. But in the 90s, it still was very, Then I remember coming out and being all like, Advocate magazine, look at everyone. I'm a big dyke. Look, lesbo. Advocate, look, I'm reading the Advocate.
You're like hanging out at Starbucks reading like the gay publications to just try to be like, I'm comfortable with myself.
I'm all, look, my rainbow pin. I don't know. That was, and then my father was later. We were eating, he was eating Indian food for the first time.
A lot of firsts.
Yeah, he's like, what's this? I go, it's like tortilla. It's like flour tortilla. It's like naan. Just put it. It's like chicken, Dad. Come on. Then he's like, so-and-so's getting married. I go, oh, how great. He goes, when are you getting married? And I go, whenever it's legal. And when I find someone, and he goes, what? I said, when I can. Yeah, they don't let people like me get married. And he goes, are you saying what I think you're saying? I said, I'm saying what, yes. He's like, same with my mom, right? And then he goes, I knew it. It was that girl. I won't say her name. She's the one that made you gay. You wanted to hang around with her way more than my boy. I had one boyfriend in high school. I said, No, but I'm thinking if I had known I was, the things I would have done. No, anyway.
Yeah, totally. Like the chicks I would have hooked up with,
I
Dad, you
was
have no
like,
idea.
you
Yeah.
don't know. I would have flunked out of high school had I known, because I would have been love struck.
And I got kicked out of high school after a breakup from being love struck because I was so you're actually right about that.
You
You are
did?
lucky that you didn't.
You got kicked out for being, oh, you're drinking? Look at what I'm drinking.
I'm drinking coffee. I got kicked out of Jesuit high school for because like fell in love for the first time and I just and then I was so just all depressed about it that I just effed off with school and then I got kicked out. So you are right. Your dad is very lucky that you did not.
I was a straight A student, honor society, one of the top 10 like students in like America. Like, I got like all A's in college. All A's, like a great, except government. I hated government and math. But I just completely dove into my studies. By the way, this glows in the dark, and I'm drinking seltzer with a metal straw because I don't like regular straws. They pollute the planet.
It's a pretty large straw, actually. I
I
think.
know, it keeps things really cold.
Oh yeah, because it's metal. Um,
It's
you
for
know,
Slurpees.
what did your friends say? Were they like, we knew?
Uh, my friends, yes. My sister goes, I knew it. Come on, we all knew it. My friend, actually one of my best friends ever in the whole world, her name is Sandy also, and we're the same age. We're a day apart. We went to elementary school together. She was out before me. So I come and tell her, and she goes, San, because we call each other San. She goes, it's going to be amazing. She said, a million girlfriends, right? And then I said, but I don't know, San. Like, I don't know the first thing to do. And she actually, like,
Took you through the ropes?
well, no, not with her, because she's like my sister.
No, but right. The
She goes,
scripture.
oh,
Description.
here's what you can do. Try this, and this is how you. I'm like, really? She goes, oh yeah, try. Like talking like, I go,
Yeah.
okay. So when the time comes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Hey, I mean, I listen. These conversations are still happening with women and women.
As,
I had one recently. I had a blowjob conversation with some random stranger somewhere about that sexual act is like between two women just sharing some stuff about it. It's just amazing how, just how women, and that's what I love about women is that we have this sort of primal essence to be vulnerable and open with each other. We used to deliver each other's babies for Christ's sake, so and that's another thing I think in women's empowerment, and I think you would agree, because as a stand-up comedian too, and this relates, it's what people don't realize. So you have sketch comedy, improv, and stand-up. Stand-up's the most cutthroat. Stand-up is where people are really often not supportive and are competitive against you. When you're in sketch or improv, you're always working with the team, and it cannot be that way. You have to be supportive. So there's a lot more camaraderie and a lot more support there. So it's, that's a tough place to be, with that arena.
I think people make it tougher by competing with themselves and
Agreed.
yourself. Competition and comparison are not your friends,
Mm.
yourself or other people. And this is where I feel like that I'm so happy that I have searched for spirituality and have always been still like, oh, this is new, this is great, this is what I can put in my life experience. Because in any career in the arts, if you don't have a sort of a sense of self or some base, I mean, you are the product. You're too fat, you're not Mexican enough, you're not dykey enough, you're too butchy, you're too lesbo, you're too fat, you're too skinny. You are the product, regardless of how funny you are or what a great actor you are.
And you were told all those things. So I just want to let everyone know you were told those things, actually. Yeah.
Yes, I've been told I'm too old, I'm too, but
I was told I was too blonde. I don't even dye my hair. Someone told me I was too damn. They're like, you need to tone it down. I was like, oh my God, like, damn. All right. Talk to the dude upstairs you believe in. I mean, it's just, you get hit from every angle. Yeah.
I was, I mean, anything is cutthroat. Yes, I've experienced that. Yes, I've experienced the hateration. Yeah, yeah. But I've also had a lot of support. When I first moved here, I had so much support from the Latino comics, the male Latino comics, the female Latina comics, the LGBT comics. I mean, we're there are some, but we're a community. I can call up anyone right now, my acquaintances, and go, hey, by the way, so and so, who books this room? Oh, this one books the room. Oh, I don't want to go there because they don't pay you. Or that we have a community. When one of us falls or dies, which some people have died, some comics, and some people comics are sick, we flock. to that comic. If we can't, we're like, should I give a couple dollars? How can I help? Do I pray for them? What do I do? So I've been very blessed to have a community of comics and artists that are supportive. Of course, there's always exceptions.
Because you are.
Because I am, yeah. I think that's a big reason. Oh, excuse me, I was a little tearing up before. Because I am, yeah. I think how you view the world is how you view everything. I think it's how you do anything is how you do everything. And I've always felt there's enough room for everybody.
That's the ticket right there. That's why you don't compete against people. And I'm that way too. I've had wonderful experiences in the comedy world and entertainment world, and have, people go, oh, you're out in Hollywood, all that fake, all these, people, all these a-holes. And you're like, I don't seem to run into too many of them. I mean, I sideswipe them and get the good stuff. And I think it's because I'm a natural cheerleader, always have been. I don't compete with other women, never have, only lift up women. I was raised by a woman who never had shitty, contentious relationships with women or drama, and also lifted up other women. So that's my jam. I don't hang out with the competitive bees. And so I agree with you. Like, if you're, what are you putting out? Because even in cutthroat environments like we're in Hollywood and stand-up comedy for you, or even writing, whatever it is, public speaking, it's just, we're getting good stuff. It's really the vibration you're putting out. I'd love you to talk a little bit more about that, because I know you have your own spiritual practice, and I'd love to get into a little bit more of that.
Well, it goes hand in hand with the competition with yourself. I find my biggest critic is myself. When I compare myself to somebody else, and I mean, let's face it, it's gonna come up where you go, oh, who got cast? I could, and then I'm like, you know what? That was for her. That's not for me. That's her stuff and her path and her. It's with anything also. This is where I belong. This is where I fit in. And my spiritual practices help me a lot with that also. Like, what's for me? What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. Even with negativity, like, whoa, that's yours. That's not mine. Positivity. You got the role. I didn't. That's fine. And that frees you. It's just a relief to go, you know what? The universe, God, source, whatever people want to call it, because I don't want to have people go, oh, she's talking about God. God to me is universe and source and my higher consciousness. Whatever that God, whatever is for me is for me. And that does not, that actually makes me feel way, way better to know that what's for me is for me. But it takes, I was just talking to a friend of mine about this, a constant maintenance daily, just like working out. You want to go and bodybuild and look like that? You can't be eating ding dongs over here and going to McDonald's and expecting to look like that when they put in the work. It's the same thing spiritually. Do you expect to, kind of be like what I call Teflon and let things slide off of you and put out good vibes and put out a frequency that's a higher vibration? That takes maintenance daily, because inevitably your own thoughts, your life experiences, people die, people get sick, you have doubts. That's going to happen. You have taxes to pay, a lot of taxes that I was like, honestly, I didn't even make that. Let me switch that around. Thank God that I had the money that I've earned to write a check for that much and just send it.
I'm going to take it a step further. I have a vision board, and on it, I printed out in big block letters, I love the IRS.
Oh,
you know why? I'll tell you why. Because for a lot of reasons, as you probably may guess, but here's the thing too. I always say, I cannot wait to pay more taxes. I can't wait. Why? Because the more taxes you pay, the more money you make, players. Period. If you're making millions of dollars, you're paying $300,000 a year in taxes. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
To pay. So I even took it a step further. It says, I heart the IRS. Because here's the thing. I hated the IRS like everyone else does, right? Taxes are worse than breakups sometimes. You're like, damn, I'd rather like go through a breakup than go to H&R And they're nice people and everything's great. And then you go through it and you're like, all right, it's not that hard. It's just that thing that you're like, ugh. So I agree with you. It's like, not only, hey, at least I have them, at least I have the job that even got taxed.
Right. At least I have taxes to pay. At least I'm doing my part, or I'm doing the right thing. Or you're right. It's how you view it. It's glass is half full and half empty. But it's not always easy. And it's not always, it doesn't just come to you like, oh, that's just it, because we're human. And we react from our human tendency, not our human nature. I don't like when people call it, oh, that's just human nature. No, violence and hatred and insecurity and all those horrible, horrible negative emotions are not human nature. That's human tendency. We all have a different tendency. In Buddhism, we call it the lower six worlds or states of being. I'm Buddhist, so I chant. And the higher four states of being is, learning and joy and Buddhahood and being, being kind and all those higher vibration states of being. My tendency is anger, but your tendency might be depression, or I don't know, something else that is not a high vibration. You can turn that anger into activism, but we don't have to be angry peacemakers. I was just listening to Reverend Beckwith.
I'm going to interview him. Yeah, no, I love him.
It's amazing. How do you turn your tendency into your poison into medicine? How do you turn any poison into medicine? Is by a higher vibration, and not reacting, but responding from a higher vibration to the situation. How do we do that? The more you research, the more you search. You know that saying, whatever you search is seeking you also? All these bumper stickers, I call them, start making sense to you and go, oh, everything's connected. My Buddhism is connected to my Ifa healing priestess, to Abraham Hicks, to The Secret, that movie, The Secret, to positive thinking. Everything's connected. That basically one thing is true. You create how you want your life to be. You create yourself daily. Now, when I first heard that, I'm like, oh. Instead of being like, yes, I was like, that sucks. That means I created all my crap. Well, kind of, sort of, you know what I mean? But if I can create that, I can create my way of looking, my point of view, glass is half full. And not just leaving it there. Where do I get more water? Where do I get more water then? And then accepting and living, there's always more water. Because you can never drain the ocean. You can never drain God and universe, because it's there for you. Why is it there for you? Because you came to earth for a reason. And that reason is, like Marianne Williamson says, to manifest the power of God. You are a human manifestation of what God is. You are what you said you were going to do here. What good are you going to spread in this world? What role do you play in this world? How are you going to heal? Because we're all healers in different levels. We just found, some of us know more about our healing powers than others, and others are still sleeping. And some of us are awakened or starting to wake up, or being even more aware. Some of us are awakened but don't want to accept the responsibility, or want to have the aha moments to go, oh, I get that I have a responsibility, that everything that comes out of my mouth is an intention. If I say something, it makes an impact. It's sending energy to people. So the three things that people would say, that this other bumper sticker that says, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? You're like, it's true then. Is it necessary? Well, I think it is. Is it kind? Shit.
Yep. Lost that one. Third one out.
Well,
yep.
But wait a minute. What goes out your door? Yeah. My ashe in Ifa means my power, my unique power to change the world. My ashe was told to me that it's in my words. Somebody else's ashe might be in, taking care of children, or their mothers, or their teachers, or their bus drivers. That's how they're going to change the world. My ashe is what I say. Mm-hmm. But what I say has a lot to do with what I put in. What this other priest said, your doors. People people aren't mindful of what goes in your doors. Your doors. what do you put in yourself every day?
Yeah. Are you watching horror movies every day while you're, yeah.
watching the news? Are you watching horrible shit? That's gonna come right back out unless you like, oh, I'm gonna put a stop to it. I don't mean to be derailed in this conversation, but
No, I like this. I want to interject that.
because I hear and I feel your podcast, not podcast, your interview, what this is about, empowerment.
Yeah.
I feel like I can tell you, this isn't me. It is a download that just was coming out, and as I'm talking, I'm going, "Where the hell did you? Wow, that's pretty good." But it's not me. Michael Beckwith said, "Who are you to say, oh no," just like Marianne Williamson said, "I am not worthy. I am not, who am I to like shine my light?" He said, "You're supposed to shine your light. You're supposed to be illuminating the world." He goes, "You know why? Because it's not you. It is a download, and you are a channel from source and the universe. This isn't you. So you give permission for joy and love and abundance and prosperity and all those good things to flow through you and then influence and touch everyone else. Just like he gave permission and then he influenced and motivated me in this Sunday. Wow, beautiful. Just like somebody gives permission and motivates me through a song or through a beautiful work of art or something. Who am I not to give permission? You get permission to goodness, but you also get permission to negative.
I really like, we've got to watch what I had a friend who was going through some times and needed to kind of get into the co-creation and manifest and back in the action and the spirit. And she was watching a ton of really negative reality shows. And I said, hey, listen, I said, there's kind of no way around it. Even though you don't think that this is affecting you, I guarantee you that it's seeping into that subconscious, and you may laugh and go, oh, I don't think it's negative. I laugh at it. And I go, no, because you can't help but get away with 2 people or 3 people being the worst of human beings and watching it and not having it seep in and F up some part of your life. So my thing is, if you really want to get somewhere and you've been stuck and you need to get back on the manifestation track, it's like, it's immediate cutoff of that shit. It's constant stand-up comedy only, or nothing at all, reading, spiritual, get rid of the horror movies, get rid of even dramas, regular, because I'm a writer, as you know, and the thing about dramas is I mentor other writers, and some people have come to me with ideas for dramas, and they're like positive dramas. And you're like, that sounds great. But here's the thing about dramas. They're dramas for a reason, because someone's going to cheat, get a heroin addiction, die. There has to be the negatives. That's what fuels dramas. That's why people watch it, because there's conflict. So in order, you got to just take a fast with the negative stuff. And then you start to see that after like a couple of weeks, your attitude changes. And then you can really get into the stuff you're downloading and reading, right? So I'm a big fan of eyes, ears. I've even told people who are going through some stuff in family things or things that are continually over time coming up. And I'll say, hey, listen, right now I need to draw a boundary. I don't need to hear about that person. I don't need to hear about that thing unless you have to talk to me about it, because there's no one else. Otherwise, I prefer not to discuss it. So I like the idea of, on this note of this, is saying no and drawing boundaries. So let's talk about some boundaries and how you feel about that, more of that.
Well, that's hard. Like I was saying, I'm a big venter. I vent. I that's just been my MO. Like, what the hell? I can't believe. And then, of course, you're adding momentum to that feeling. Is it going to help you? Sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it does help. Sometimes you have to let it out.
You have to.
But what I end up doing sometimes is, like, I'll talk about something in the past, and then realize that I've had all those feelings now have come up again. Why am I talking about something in the past? And why, especially with someone I haven't talked to in a while, then they're like, and so how are you? Oh, good. Oh, I hear that you, and yeah, I went through this. And so this is what happened. And I go through all the detail, and I'm like, I just relived it. Instead of saying, still the truth, you know what? This is what happened. It was kind of not a very good thing for me, but I don't really want to talk about it. It just happened. Because really, they don't have to know exactly every single, and I'm going through all the feelings, and it's all coming out, and I'm not feeling good at all. And it's not even in my present. One thing I love about Abraham Hicks,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not trying, I'm doing, but sometimes it's more difficult than others, is that before I get out of bed, because mornings are really tough for me. Why did you think I made this interview so late in the day? Mornings are tough for me because I stay up super late, but mornings are tough for me because I have very, very deep, vivid dreams. And I do believe that I spiritually have to come back in the body, kind of back in. And so I feel like in the morning, I'm suddenly all these worries, like they're just waiting there. You know how when a cat or a dog waits for you to wake up, they're all, and you're like, oh, that's what I feel like. I have a million like cats and dogs waiting for me with the anxiety. Um, so what I've been doing is what Abraham Hicks suggests. Before you even touch the floor and get up out of bed, start thinking of really great things that make you feel good. And at first it's going to feel weird, like, okay, I love my pillow. Okay, I love, ooh, what a soft cover. But the more you do it, the more you're like, do you hear that crow?
You know, for people that are new here, just heard that for the first time, she's got some bird issues. We might have to find a way to murder this thing by the end of this
Oh,
cast.
the crows are fine. It's a damn mockingbird. Forget, oh, the crow, I don't know what the crow's crowing about. So, when the cock crows. Uh, so before I get up out of bed, you start thinking about things you love and things that make you feel good or that have made you feel good. Even if it's the past, like, you know, I really love that time when my mom and I went to, you know, this concert together, and you start feeling good. Or I'm looking forward to my cup of coffee, which I love, Dunkin' Donuts French vanilla coffee, or whatever it is. I'm looking forward to today, or I love how this feels. I love my hair. I got really good hair. Oh, I love that how my hair. So, and by the time you actually sit up, you realize that you feel good because you're grateful about the things in your life, or you just filled your consciousness with positive, beautiful things, and so you are happy, and now you're in a high vibration when before you get up out of bed.
I love that. And one of the things is, you mentioned couch surfing earlier. I think every entertainer, comedian has I've done tons of couch surfing before. And when you're on a effing couch, you are grateful and can't wait for a bed. You can't wait for your own bed and your own pillow. You're just dying for it. So it's like how we take those things for granted. I want to do a shout out because one of the things I do is I found this guy on YouTube. His name's Justin, and it's You Are Creators, or You Are the Creators. And he's got more daily affirmations on a loop, and he'll go through all of the parts of the body on one, and then one he'll be like, thanks for passive income, thanks for this, thanks for, and so then it's just playing. So it's like you're getting up out of bed, you press play, and you're just in this world of this wonderful voice, just kind of, there's a lot of great stuff like that on YouTube, so that if you can't get into it yourself at first, or you're new to it, there's so many free little daily gratitude affirmations, and just find the voice and the vibe that you like. This stuff in the world of technology, you can tap right in.
You know what I love about Abraham Hicks also, and I've listened to Abraham Hicks forever, but
Yeah,
I
me too.
didn't really listen to Abraham Hicks. And one of the videos, this guy was like, the more I do my affirmations or visualize, I feel anxiety. And Abraham Hicks says, well, because you're not general enough. You're too specific, and the specifics are making you anxious. Like, I'm going to have $100,000 by the end of this year. And then you go, yeah, right. Because that makes you kind of a conflicting vibration. So because I was like, yeah, I feel anxious too. What I've been doing that Abraham Hicks suggests is, wow, I look forward to creating more money. I look forward to what my life has in store for me. I look forward to having great times with my friends. I look forward to what I'm going to create. I am so happy that I know that I can do, those kinds of affirmations are not false, because people might be like, yeah, affirmations. I am, someone who's got like 2 broken legs. My health is amazing. Well, no, it's not right now. But if you say, I look forward to my healing, I know that I can heal. I know that my legs are going to heal the right way. I trust the doctors. I look forward to meeting, or whatever you want to fill it in with, things that are true for you. Then you start a momentum of, this feels good. That's another thing, where reach for what feels good. I think we've all been conditioned to want to feel good, but then not. I mean, look at everybody that posts, Monday, horrible, Monday. And like you with the taxes, I start to think, you have a job, don't you? I know Mondays are, you'd rather be home, but if you're putting out Monday.
Yeah, it's what you're putting.
That is, annoying first. It's just annoying. It's, or people that put out, isn't it horrible? You know, something horrible that happens in the world. Isn't this just horrible? Post. They don't post anything positive. They just put, this is horrible, tragedy, horrible. Yes, it is horrible. We all agree it's horrible. Why don't you post tragedy? This is horrible. This is why we need to do more of, like what Michael Beckwith says. So you're against, I'm against violence. I'm against, you know, violence and horrible things. Okay, instead of saying I'm for peace, then say you're for peace. No, but I'm against violence. And then you're like, oh, instead of saying I'm for peace, I am for kindness, I am for love.
Yeah, let's stop fighting cancer too. Let's stop fighting.
Right? I'm for healing. Let's
That's right.
heal it. Let's figure out a way to heal it. Instead of it's a conflicting vibration about it. And believe me, I'm not one to say that I do it like I'm great. No, because sometimes I'm like, this sucks. I can't, and then I have, but now I know to catch myself and go, okay, I'm feeding into this. How am I going to shift it? What makes me feel good? Which is why I like to have a lot of little toys around. Like I'm not kidding. I love this glow in the dark mug. I know it's ridiculous.
It brings you so much joy. So
it brings me joy. This is my seltzer mug with my beautiful red shiny straw.
hey, you know, I've had a couple of these moments in life. I wonder if you've had any of these. I'm just thinking about this, where I've had to go on stage, but have been bawling, crying up until the moment I had to go on stage and had it together. And then right when I got off stage, lost it right again.
Oh, girl, I haven't had that moment.
You know, but it's like the show must go on kind of thing. Those moments where you like buckle up. And I bring that up because you don't want to buckle up always in the, like when you got to buckle up for a show, you got to buckle up. But other times we got to, like you said, let's look at it, investigate it. Let's not spend too much time in the past. If we find ourselves going there, let's turn around and start focusing on what we want. You talk about Abraham Hicks. I'm actually like I've gone through the Seth. The original before her was Seth. And I've taken that course like 3 times now with a guy out of New York. It's really intensive material. It's some of the best stuff. If anyone is curious about getting into it, I would look into The Nature of Personal Reality as being the first book to read. The first one is Seth Speaks, and then the second one is Nature of Personal Reality. But they're really intensive. And, you know, you mentioned The Secret earlier, and I interviewed Lisa Nichols recently on the Primal Blueprint podcast. And yeah, she's amazing. And it was a dream of mine to even meet those people now that I'm interviewing them, which is really amazing. But The Secret, and people joke around about it because, you know, the movie is a little bit low production value. But I will say this, for anyone who hasn't heard or watched or listened to it, the audiobook is amazing. It's 4 hours versus 90 minutes. And it's really just the interviews. And it's really something that if you're just going, what are these guys talking about? I know that you probably would say that yes to this, which is, while we're still people and we have bad moments, I have so few bad days compared to the old thinking before I knew about this, right? I mean, it's astounding, isn't it? The happiness. I still cry. We have moments, right? There's shit happens, taxes, fucking taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. I have way more. And what you were saying about, you know, doing comedy shows when you don't feel, this is the thing that people don't understand about comedians. I mean, actors or any other job, when I was singing in a band, no matter how horrible my life was or whatever, you sing through it, you know, you close your eyes and you sing it and whatever, or you go to work. But a comic, when you had to be funny, when your mom just died, when my mom passed away, I was all, I hate everyone. And I had a couple of gigs when I came back to LA. I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to be funny. I don't know how I'm going to, people not, it brings triggers. But my mom passing away, I chose, I could have, because I took care of her for years and it was a horrible disease. It's just, I could have chosen to be like, screw this, you know, and be bitter, and nobody would have been angry. Nobody would have been mad at me about it. Like, you know, I ain't mad at you about that. They would have been like, yeah, I get it. But I chose for it to change me and fuel me. I don't like that phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Agreed.
What makes, that doesn't make you. You choose for it to make you stronger, because a lot of people have chosen differently. I chose for it to go, you know what? I'm going to represent my mom because she put so much work into me and so much, you know, of herself. I mean, this is who I am representing my parent. And so when she passed away, I was like, if you even liked me a little bit, you would have loved her, because I mean, I look just like her. Also, I am part of what made me, who I chose to come through. And so when I changed it, and then other things in my life have happened where I'm like, other little tragedies where I was like, I've cried on stage because I also sing on stage. After a particularly bad time 4 years ago where I had a horrible divorce and lost everything, I was doing a show and I was singing at the end and I just broke down. And I let it happen.
This is
And it was
real.
real, and it was transformative, transformational, and it was inspirational. And my comedy began to shift to say, and also when I became a priestess, which is around the right the same time, how am I going to use what I have even more to not only heal myself, but heal people? And it changed from, oh, I hope you like me, I hope you laugh, which it's still there though. I hope you like me and I hope you laugh. That's why I'm there. But it's not my intention. My main intention is, I hope through what I have in my silly, stupid jokes and my goofiness that you feel a little lighter, a little much believe in possibility, believe in yourself. Notice that you are, I'm going to say it because it sounds kind of corny to come out of my mouth, but a magnificent human being, a spiritual being in human form. Notice that after I talk or sing or do my little comedy thing, that you feel self and you want to go out and create happier moments just by making yourself happy. Like when Marianne Williamson says, you just have to shine your light, and you automatically give permission for others to do the same just by being your own fabulous self. You don't have to go and make people or try to change people like I used to. I still kind of do sometimes because I'm the oldest child, but and I think I'm right, but you don't have to try to worry or make someone like, oh, I have to help them. You can just be yourself, and then they go, well, I want what she has too. Why can't I have that? I've done it with people where I'm like, oh, I like her or his vibe. How can I get that vibe? We already have it. And that's how it changed my comedy, that it's not just jokey jokes, which they are, but you come out a little bit different from one of my shows.
I like that you said earlier that you chose to be empowered after your mom died, to go through that and not let you sink down into something else. You chose to see how it could feel you. You took a shot there. That was a risk. I really like that, because there's gonna be roadblocks, and some of those roadblocks are gonna come up and be in front of your dream too, like that, those shows, those gigs, you know, and there's a moment, and there might be times when you do have to bow out. We're not saying push through everything, but I just think that that's such a show of empowerment and strength. In my situation, it was many years ago, and I was very upset about a bad kind of a breakup 20 years ago, where the person really kind of was not who they were. And sort of one of those, oh my God. And I had my friend take me backstage and handheld me, but I tell you, it was one of my best performances that night. And I think it was because I'm like, no, I'm not going to let this take me further down. Not for the next 10 minutes anyway. Not for the next 10 minutes. For the next 10 minutes, I can get my shit together.
People, and the thing is this, like when I look back at my old comedy, yeah, it's funny. It's great. It is. If you allow and give permission for your experiences to be positive, if you say, how am I going to turn this poison into medicine? The answer will come. It may not come like you think the answer is coming, but it's a compilation of all the little obstacles that you've overcome. You know, in Buddhism, we say, you know, friction and a problem actually propels you forward. It's an opportunity to open doors to propel you forward. So little tiny things empower you to where now you're like, you know, it's like an Olympic you're an Olympic spiritual comedian, you know, like you're an Olympian, because you're like, excuse me, that's the bunny hill. I'm
Yeah.
like Black Diamond. I'm good with this. Not to say you don't wipe out here and there, you know, because I've seen them. You've seen them. You've seen the figure skaters also just wipe out, but still win the competition though. But they fall and they
Occasionally
get like,
someone gets a club to a freaking leg. Hey, you know.
hey, what are we talking about? But I mean, so I was in this gig that in November when Trump won, I was at Olivia Travel. And somehow my schedule, I was supposed to go on a Sunday, and my schedule with another show conflicted. So I was moved to a Wednesday, the day after the election. Well, we all thought. Well, we never thought, is what I'm saying. I was like, it's going to be a party. It's going to be the easiest gig in my entire life. We're just going to be, I mean, it's a room full of women. It's like 2,000 lesbians. We're going to have a party. Well, that was not the case. I mean, I woke up the next morning. They were all crying. I was like, turning to my girlfriend and I go, how am I going to do a comedy show? Not only because I'm upset, but they're all crying. This is where I went, really? Walk the walk, talk the talk. What are you going to do? Well, I think they're going to think I'm corny if I go. Who cares? They can walk out. That's right. I had this whole conversation. And my comedy took a turn, and I went, you know what? This is where my priesthood comes in. This is where I'm the Buddhist and chanting. This is where I'm all my spirituality that I've been living and breathing and being. Why is it separate? And I realized it's not separate. My performing is who I am. It's not just a job I do. This is who I am. These are the words I wrote. Is not separate from myself. And myself is a spiritual teacher, healer. Why can't I combine them? There's no reason why why am I separating them? Because they're combined. Why am I bracketing them? So I got up there and I just went, this is it. And I'm telling you, the biggest standing ovation, and that's not why I did it, but the healing of those women and myself, that I went, this is a whole other career too. This is a motivational speaking career. This is me stepping into myself, which I've had these messages from spirit before, like, take your place at the table. I've heard those words like in my head while I'm praying, like, what am I going to do? Take your place at the table. And I'm like, what do you mean my place at the table? I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. I don't even like ghosts. I'll freak out. I'll pee my pants. Nope, that's what you are. Take your seat at the table. And little by little, I'm having an interview with you, am I not? I'm taking my place at the table. Why not me? I remember I looked in the mirror and I went literally out loud, I go, why not me? Why are you doing that to yourself? And I went, you're right, why not me?
Or how about me?
That's right.
You know what's great about this too is that my extension. So when I first saw you, I did not know we were going to do this women's empowerment thing. I was just doing the Primal Blueprint podcast, but I just was like, I want to interview her someday I don't know, but I just had this vibe, you know? And then
jokes? Was it my tuxedo?
You know what it was? I tell you what, first of all, totally jokes. It was really great. I really hope people can go see some of her stand-up or even just watch some Instagram videos, just your daily stuff, just funny, all your commentary. Your inner confidence, and also just see another woman up there, woman lesbian up there. I've been a huge supporter of the LGBT community for literally 20 years. I went to my first GLAD event like when I was 20. So I've been, I'm very supportive. It really wasn't that, but it was just what a strong, awesome, listen, to MC an entire film festival, people, you have no idea the level of liability, the level of professionalism involved in that, and the level of skill. It is really impressive. So I think had I just seen you do stand-up, I don't know that I would have been like, wow.
Oh, you wouldn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would have. But I was so much more impressed because you were the MC of of a huge event, and you set the mood and the tone, just like a director does on a set. And the vibes were so great. And I've been to a ton of these things, and I just loved your vibe. Yeah, and I just love your vibe. And I was like, I wonder.
Somebody else was an award. And to me, I was like, I'm going to make this fun because I'm going to do it. I have to do this. And then I couldn't read the teleprompter. Remember? I was like, it's too far.
Oh, yeah. But at least you called it out.
I've been doing it for years, La Femme Film. And because I've been doing it for years and I'm getting older, I'm like, Leslie, which is the creator and the director of it all. I said, I need glasses this year. And you got to kind of work with me with the teleprompter there. And she's like, no worries. I think I pulled it off okay.
You more than pulled it off. And also, again, that opportunity came out of nowhere for you. I'm a nobody, didn't know you, didn't know what I was going to use you for. I just wanted your card and I needed your name. I didn't, somehow lost the show notes to the thing. And so then it came time and I was like, I pitched it to, Karen, my co-host on the summit. And I was like, I know this sounds really random, but it was funny because I didn't know that, not that I'm not surprised. I just didn't know you had the ability to articulate your own spiritual essence and had this whole side of you. Not shocking. I'm just saying, it was nice to make that connection with you as well, because clearly I was kind of going like, I want to talk to her for some fun reasons, but there's also something else there. And it's just great to discover that. And also, you never know, put yourself out there. It never hurts to ask, right? Didn't hurt to ask. That's another thing with especially comedians or any kind of performance. You're your own salesperson, people. You got to ask. It's a tough
Yeah,
thing,
you are. Yes,
but
yes.
almost, yeah. Go ahead.
No, and here's, I don't know if it's a woman thing. I don't know if it's a Mexican woman thing that you go, well, no, it'll be too conceited, or they'll look at me like, yeah, right. Look at her, or who does she think? But if it's not you, if you're not confident about yourself, then why should I buy your product? And your product happens to be you. No one ever sells you a car and goes, this car, I don't know, it might break. You have to kind of jiggle the handle. You're like, I don't want to buy the car for that much money. Either you'd say, this is a great car. You're not lying, though. You're not going to lie, but you're like, this is a good car. It's got whatever product that you're selling. It's not about lying. It's about going, who are you really? And this is the thing. I think some people aren't true to themselves. If you don't know who you are, which is okay, no one has to know completely who they are, but you're trying to put on like something else, it's going to come out. It's going to come across that it's not authentic. It's not something that I can sell, that you could sell. When you come into agreement and alignment with self, to know I have something to share with the world. And it really isn't like Michael Beckwith was saying, me and how amazing I am. No, I have a way to do it in a very different way than her, than him. I have a way, we all have our seat at the table. And I have something that you would really use and like. Not because it's me, but because it's coming from source and I'm here for that. Then why wouldn't you want to sell that? Why wouldn't you want to represent you have something? Because look at your life. If Stevie Nicks, which I love, wouldn't have been Stevie Nicks, she wouldn't have impacted my life. I'm glad Stevie Nicks is. I'm glad I know who she is, and she marketed herself however she did because she impacted my life. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that the things I like, the authors that I read, the shows that I watch, that even stupid shows that are mindless, that entertain me, I'm glad they're there because it kind of fills me and it makes me feel good and then I can move on. I'm glad they marketed that and I'm glad I know what that show is so that I can feel good and go. Things that make me feel good. Why am I not one of those? I am one of those. We all are one of those. So we got to let the world know who we are so we can make as big of an impact as we're supposed to make. I love when I get emails from people saying, I saw you in the Latin Divas Comedy 10 years ago in my Showtime show. And just by watching you, I came out to my aunt, or I feel better about myself. I left this horribly abusive relationship. Now, did I talk about leaving horribly abusive relationships? No, I didn't. I talked about jokes. But somehow me doing what I do somehow made them go, I want to feel as happy as that, or as happy as I feel when I'm listening to her and I'm not happy here and I'm leaving. I don't know what triggered in them. I'm not them. But when I get these emails, this is the email.
It's tear. It's like
these emails that I got you. This woman came up to me. I was about to go on stage at the Laugh Factory. And she was coming out of the bathroom. And she goes, oh my God, did I miss you? I said, no, I'm next. She goes, I brought my whole work people because I heard you were going to be here. This whole group of row of people. And she goes, you got me through chemo. I was like, my stupid jokes on TV? She's like, yes, what can I give you? She looked in her purse and she gave me a pen that's also a lighter. She wanted me to have it. And I was like, thank you. She's like, I don't know what. And then they like, and coming up and say, I'm like, that's me. I was all, okay, that's me. Put my pen somewhere. And I came on stage like, hey, everybody, hey, you know, this is what I'm saying.
You don't know how the reach of your impact, so you got to just do and shed the light and have the download out there. I have it too, and it's amazing. Yesterday I was crying with a couple who I met at Austin Paleo FX when I was where to speak. Apparently, she had been suffering with thyroid stuff for years, and then somehow Googled something, heard a podcast, then got into it. Only it's been like a couple of weeks, then they sign up and just boldly are like, we're just going to go to the damn convention for this thing. Then they find out I'm speaking there. I talk to them, offer an hour of my free time to help them over the phone with their problem. And it's like, we're all crying together. And when they told me that story, it's like those chemo stories. You don't know. And sometimes I don't know. I'm out there on a podcast. I'm talking. You're out there in audiences. You have no idea how many people have come out of your audience and come out to their parents and been their authentic true self because of a joke or a story, or because they just saw you being comfortable with you.
That's what I'm saying. If that's what it takes, thank you, Marianne Williamson, for shine your light, and you automatically give others permission to do the same. That kind of makes you go, well, then, well, if others, well, okay, then I'm going to shine mine because I want you to shine yours. And ultimately, when you see people, what do we want? We want to be loved and accepted. That's what people want. And I believe that if how people are either acting through love and from love, or a cry for love.
I love it. You know, and on that note, we could go on for several more hours, but we're going to put all the, things, the way to connect with you in show notes. But I really love your Instagram. Tell us a few ways of how to connect with you. And also tell us about the Latin Diva comedies and some other things you've done that people can look up.
Well, the Latin Divas of Comedy was years ago. I wore a tuxedo, even though the producer wanted me to wear a gown. He actually said the word gown.
No.
Because it was fancy, he said. That's what he said. Latino men, gotta love them. I didn't wear a gown, I wore a tuxedo. It was years ago, and it's funny, and I look at those jokes and I'm like, oh, I'm better now. But the Latin Divas of Comedy on Showtime, also Pride, the Gay and Lesbian Comedy Slam. Same producer, I love him, but not a very original title, but okay. I'm out there with that one. What else? I forgot. Oh, Nick Mom's Night Out. I did Nick Mom because I actually raised my ex-girlfriend's children. So that's another comedy. Kids. Gee.
That's another interview. That's another summit. Yeah.
That's amazing. And also my website, welovesandra.com. I'm on Instagram, Sandra Valls 1, because there's another Sandra Valls. She's in Spain, apparently. And Facebook and and Twitter and all that. It's on my website, welovesandra.com, which I have to update. I just haven't had a chance to.
I know. I love it. I love the Instagram posts. What do you got coming up? Are you doing a lot more stand-up this summer and fall, or what are you excited about? Everything, I'm assuming.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That question used to make me go, oh shit, Mama, I don't have anything. Can I make something up? I have projects I'm working on. No. I'm excited every day about my growth and what I'm creating and going to auditions. I'm actually getting back in the acting.
Nice.
Which I kind of went, I don't know why. I did a lot of stand-up comedy, paying the bills. I'm still doing comedy, still singing. I'm excited about what I'm learning in my audition acting classes and what I'm validating when I'm going, hey, I already knew this. It was just a little rusty. I'm a pretty good actor, actually. I was like,
totally.
I've been a good actor. I'm excited about the LGBTQI prides that I'll be doing this summer. I'm excited about, I always do tours in Texas. I'm excited about that. I'm getting that put together. I can't think of my calendar right now.
If we want to, if someone's listening, wants to like book you for an event, I'm wondering, do you do things like, corporate roasts or roasts at people's weddings?
I do. Yes. I actually am also a minister and I do marry people That's a fun wedding because I also sing at the wedding. I'm
That's amazing.
And then I bring my DJ equipment. No, I don't. I've married people. I do sing at their weddings as well. I just came from a great gig in Sacramento, which I loved, and I got to sing all my songs because I play piano too. It was really great. What was the question?
I was saying, like, do you do, like, I'm sure you could probably put together like a roast, or like, do you do corporate events or
roasts? I don't like roasts. I don't like being mean. I don't appreciate. I'm not good at them. I can't be all like, yeah, Elle, your hair is so blonde that
you're an idiot or something like awesome. Yeah.
I'd be all like, it's beautiful. I know it's not roasting. What the fuck? I'm like, no, not roast. I've done a lot of fundraisers. I've done gala, the cancer gala here at the Benjamin Center, which was amazing. It was that's where Gilda Radner first went. I do a lot of fundraisers. I do house. See the thing, like I've done house parties for people who are like, I really, 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 I know you don't have a gig and wherever, but if we can create one, I have a big backyard. I'm like, let's talk price. Let's talk whatever. I've done great house parties. It's been amazing. A lot of comedians do.
Yeah, that's super fun, and it's something you usually don't think about, but it's great.
I'm all, you have a piano? I'm down. I'm looking also forward to an Olivia vacation, a resort. Olivia.com is a women's travel company, and I'm going to the Bahamas. And that's always beautiful. That was my very first Olivia ever, like 7 years ago. My very first time snorkeling. I'm not an outdoor lesbian. I'm an indoor lesbian.
An indoor?
Yeah, it was okay, but I'm better at indoor stuff.
There's a lot of sand. It's a lot of sand.
A lot of sun. Look at my skin. It's like pale. So.
Did you get to swim with the pigs in Bahamas? Isn't that where they do that? Where they have like the pigs that come up on the shore and the beach?
What?
There's like pigs in the ocean in the Bahamas somewhere, or somewhere in the Caribbean where you can like go pet pigs as you're walking into the ocean. They're like hanging out. I thought that maybe you probably would have mentioned it though. So. No, that's not part of Olivia's travel itinerary.
I don't know what you mean swim with pigs.
We're already swimming with sharks. We don't need them.
Only white people swim with sharks. I'm sorry. No offense, but
they do.
I'm not.
White guys.
No, that's like being all like, hey, where's the most violence in this city? Let's go in there. Ooh, look, guns, drugs. I'm not swimming with no sharks.
We got enough in Hollywood. What would you like to leave our audience with? After all of that, we went through a lot.
I never want to leave your audience. One thing that's really, that has been speaking to me this week is that your higher consciousness, again, universe, God, source, already knows, already has something, what we need, let go and let God. That's what it means. And now it doesn't mean, well, I gave it to God and not do anything. This is what I was taught at first. We'll just pray about it and then let go. No. It takes some work from your part too. Every day you're either expanding or contracting. This is what Ifa, my religion, says. You're either making a choice to expand or contract. You're either making a choice to have a blessing or learn a lesson. I don't call it failure. What is your choice every minute of the day? Do you want to learn? Do you want to expand or contract? Marianne Williamson says, you cannot escape the lesson. You're not escaping the lesson. Your only choice is, do you want to learn it through joy or through pain? I'd better learn it through joy. So what is the choices we make every day? You choose to be happy. I choose to feel good today, whatever that means to you. I want to feel good. And the more you choose to feel good, the more you get back to self. And I think that, I know it's a long-winded answer, but bear with me. The self of the child within us is playful, is creative, is limitless, is joyful, is abundant. You know, kids play. I caught myself the other day at a grocery store going like this, like like I did a dance, like, like, then I went, how embarrassing, someone's gonna look at me, but they don't, and they were, but who cares? But there's also a little girl who was doing some weird dance that no one thought it was weird. She was just feeling good. Why aren't we playful? We are creative through play and through possibility and the joy. And we attract other like-minded beings. I just posted on Facebook and this thing I found that they've got these little, and I know it's long-winded, but who cares? There's these little balls, different colored quartz crystal balls, and they pour it in this thing that's got plastic pokes. They pour it all in and it's mixed. It's like Skittles mixed. But they all come down and gather in their respective colors by themselves, because each distinct quartz crystal has a specific vibration and frequency it lets out. So they separate themselves. I was like, there must be a catch. And I watched that video over and over again. But the quote in Spanish, which I translated to English, says, we're the same way. We also segment and group ourselves by the vibrations that we attract. So what am I attracting? It's a hard one because I've had to unfriend people in real life.
We all have, and
you know,
that's part of growing. It's part of self-respect.
But now I'm attracting positive, like-minded people. I'm talking to one right now.
I know, I feel the same way. We're going to do more of that, and I just want to put a button on this interview with Sandra Valls. We love Sandra.com, and go on Instagram, Sandra Valls 1. And we'll put all this.
Did you say Walton?
Sandra Valls 1 on Instagram?
I
or
thought
2?
it was balls.
Oh God, no. Oh my God, no. Sorry. Hey everyone, that's with the V as in Victor. So that's Sandra Valls, VALLS. That's great. 1 on Instagram. She's got really funny commentary and stuff that'll really brighten your day. But I would say for both of us, you know, I think Sandra would agree. I had this thought the other day. I'm not even kidding you. I was hiking with a friend yesterday and I said to him, because sometimes creative people, we go through, right? It's an uncharted territory. There's no exact benchmark. And sometimes it's unknown and people question and go, how long do I, you know, there's a lot of that. And I was talking to a fellow comedian yesterday on a hike and I said, you know what, here's the thing. I'm really serious about this. And I know this sounds messed up to say, but if for some reason life never got better from here, or it ended tomorrow, or I just, whatever, couldn't pursue my dreams for whatever reason, I would still be so fulfilled with all of the stuff that I did that didn't even pay a dime. I paid to act in sketch comedy for years. No one gets paid for that. You show up to the theater, that's gas, that's your money. You go to the good, you're getting the mustaches, you're paying for the wigs. This is all, you know, you do improv. I was 4 nights a week driving into Hollywood. Those are some of my favorite times ever, being able to write a book, write a documentary. I didn't get paid to write that documentary. I won't get paid till someone makes money later. That wasn't it. It's so fulfilling. And I just know that everyone goes to the like, well, but that's not practical because it doesn't equal money, or I can't gauge how that's going to equal that. And I think Sandra and I would both, I think you'd agree. You just, look, you can still have the full-time job, but pursue what you love, man. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be cross stitch, for Christ's sakes. I know a couple who square dances and they just love it. And that's their whole thing, man. It's whatever it is, but you got to do what you love. You don't want to live in regret, because that's people our age. Sandra and I have friends who are married with the kids and the 5 Porsches, and they're all going, man, I wish I kind of followed what you did, or at least followed my passion, or what am I doing now? And they're looking for it now, and there's nothing wrong, and it's never too late. Right. But I can tell you that the fulfillment that Sandra and I get from pursuing our dreams and then achieving them is
it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's I don't know any other way.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way.
All right. Well, Sandra Valls with a V, V-A-L-L-S. We love Sandra.com. Thank you so much, Sandra. So wonderful to meet you. And thanks everyone for joining the summit. Check out her work, check out her stuff. She'll make you smile. And we hope you'd enjoy this.
I see.